So yeah, nigga, we had to delete a bunch of shit. Got clipped off. Man, watch that last video for a good introduction to this video. We gonna keep it cracking and try to roll through it. I told y'all, man, I talk a whole lot of shit, man. I be enjoying myself. Hope y'all enjoy the greenery, the scenery, and the sounds of the birds chirping. OZ the Wizard. Like, share, subscribe, but don't do none of that. Keep running and hiding from your boy. It's all good. Let's get it. We were talking about the tyrannical mind. For those of y'all that don't want to go back and sit through 24 minutes of my last video, jerks. But the tyrannical mind believes in its own power. We coming straight out the book, Kinds of Power by James Hillman. We've been coming out the book for the last like 10 goddamn videos, but we gonna finish this shit out. But anyways, tyranny. The tyrannical mind believes in its own power. It makes up its own mind. But the idea of a pantheon refuses to let the mind believe in itself so absolutely. So as I said in my last video, and I'll just try to sum it up real quick as best I can. Consciousness can come from many different places. Some people believe in different gods and multiple consciousness. Some people believe in even like the Holy Spirit. Again, I grew up in the church, man. I've seen the Holy Spirit possess people. They speak in tongues. They start dancing and doing all kind of shit when they get the Holy Spirit in them. And as we've seen, like with rising power, we just discussed the power of rising. It could be the spirit of all kind of shit that gets in you. You see what I'm saying? So again, just to keep it moving, you know, having that singularity of mind, you're the only one inside your head. Your mind is your consciousness. Your mind is being made up from the same position, the same stance. Like I said in Decision and Rising Power, I think it was Rising Power. Like I said, hey man, I'm a man, so I hope men, y'all can relate to this. Women, I'm sure y'all can relate to this too. But I'm just saying, as a man, it's like I knew. Women, I can't relate to, you know, what happens when like we get a hard dick. I can't relate to what y'all go through. But you know what I'm saying? When the shit, you know, pussy start throbbing or some shit, that click get hard on you or something, I don't know. But when the dick get hard, I'm already knowing. I'm not thinking with the same mind that I would normally think with. You see what I'm saying? I just be honest with you, man. Like I got Lilith and Aries. I'm a super freak. So I'm already knowing, and again, if my dick didn't get hard, oh man, I'm thinking about fucking something, or this type of things that's gonna go through my mind. It's gonna lead me in the direction. Again, Aries, I would end up with pussy in my face so fucking fast, and it's kind of like, how the fuck did this happen? Well, since I'm here now, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I ain't got my tongue pierced for no reason, nigga. I'm just playing. No, I'm not. But you get the point here, man. I'm already knowing my consciousness can go many different directions or whatever else. Again, I'm tapped into a bunch of shit once I done got on my path and whatnot. So I'm already knowing I can get ideas from different places, different goddesses, different deities. It could just be God himself, whatever you want to call it. As I was saying in the last video about my co-worker, how do you know Jesus don't speak directly through me or talk through me? Nigga, I'm not saying that I do know. I don't know. That's the point. I don't know. Can't nobody say for certain that it don't happen. How I know God ain't speaking through you right now, trying to question me, test my faith or some shit. You don't know. I don't know what spirit is in you while we going through this, while we having this conversation. Nigga, you could have been talking about anything in the world. We can stop right now and talk about anything else in the world. Do you want to? No. Okay, so then yeah, there's some spirit, some force in you that's compelling you to continue to have this conversation. See, I'm one of them niggas. Nigga, why are we done doing this? We ain't got to keep doing this. Why you picking my brain, nigga? You not getting ready to transform me or convert me to no shit. I'm so far past where the fuck you are in life. It's crazy. I mean, even the fact that I'm sitting here talking about it, if I so choose or so chose to, nigga, I could be a preacher. I could do some shit. I mean, again, I grew up in that whole environment. I never once thought until I went off to college on my own. I always assumed at some point the cousins and we were going to end up being the deacons and on the brotherhood. It was going to end up being us at some point because we were in church every Sunday. It was going to be us. You know what I mean? And it wasn't as if we didn't believe it. Again, as I keep saying now, I'm not against it. It's not as if I don't believe in the Bible and every goddamn thing. Yes, I spent too many years of my life in that. I know exactly what's going on. I just have a better understanding of it now. You know what I'm saying? When I was a child, I did childish things. I thought in childish ways. And when I grew the hell up, I put away childish things. So I approach, is the Easter Bunny real? No. So that I don't approach any fairy tales like I used to, like I did with a childish mind. No. And again, if the preacher can sit up there and do it and he has a connection to God and whatever else, isn't that not what we're supposed to be doing? Figuring out our own connection, getting our own relationship. That's not, do you not pray? So if you pray to the nigga, can he not respond? You see what I'm saying? But so am I supposed to be crazy because I'm like, oh, okay, well, I can talk to that God, and I can talk to this God, and I can talk to that guy. I have so many different names. I go by different names. I've said this in many a time. So one way of looking at the whole God thing is over here it's God, over there it's Jesus, over here it's Muhammad. They all the same figure. They got the same attributes. They do the same thing. Just got different names. So over here in this circle, somebody called me this name. I know they talking to me. Over here, somebody called me a name. Oh, I know they've been around my family because only people in my family call me that. They call me this. Well, then I know you met me at the job or you met me at work or whatever else. Hell, like I told the one, but I prefer to be called Mr. Osborne. It's not a fucking thing young about me. It's respect. I prefer respect. I'm going to give you respect, and I need that back. We're adults here. I don't give a damn about a grown ass nothing. A grown woman, a grown man. It don't mean nothing to me at all. Clearly, if you have to say you grown, if you got to say, my point is this: a mature adult, it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. I can see with my own two eyes if you are a man or a woman. So why would you have to clearly describe yourself as a man or a woman? Dumb shit. See what I'm saying? Adults, maturity. A maturity level. It's a factor. That shit can happen in any age. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I've been on this shit since I was in my 20s. Now I'm damn near 40. And it's like, I hope I have the age. Maybe people didn't take me seriously back then because of my age. But now that I'm damn near 40, I surely hope you take me seriously now. Because I've always had a air of seriousness about me. Like I don't play games all the time, and when it comes down to taking care of business, I will knock a motherfucker out. I do not play. It's whatever it is. Are we doing dishes? What's the mission? What mission we on? I bet you I get it done. That's just all it is to it. But I've always been that way. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying. Point is, some people haven't, and they need that distinction. They need that. Okay, look, you have to remind yourself. You're not reminding me. You're reminding yourself that you're grown and you need to act in a mature way or some old shit. But just because you grown, you can't stop yourself from growing. Technically, legally, they say you grown at 18. I know y'all heard me say this shit before. It is what it is. You're grown at 18, so that really don't mean shit. You've been grown for however many years. It does not mean anything. If you over 18 and I'm grown and shit, and so you can sign your name on the dotted line. You can buy alcohol. So what? Even when you 18, okay, you grown, but you can't buy alcohol and cigarettes and shit, not in my state, till you 21. So you being grown don't mean shit. It don't mean nothing. You see what I'm saying? It's just lightweight proves ignorance. You know what I'm saying? I'm a mature adult. That's what I kill him with. I'm a grown ass man. Okay, good for you. I'm a mature adult. Now when you reach my maturity, when you get my wisdom, with age is supposed to come wisdom, but it don't happen like that for everybody. With experience comes wisdom. But again, that's the point of why we talking about tyranny, right? In the mind, when you got full control, full power over your mind, you know what I'm saying? Some people, again, make it make sense. They make it make sense for themselves. They don't take in consideration like what's actually happening in the real world, what people are telling you, or they don't believe what they're hearing. You see what I'm saying? So which is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be your own investigator, which is why I say it's kind of tricky. It's kind of hypocrisy in a sense, but if you on the left hand path, you gotta make up your own mind, but you gotta roll with that. So that's just the point. And that's the reason why we're talking about the power of tyranny, and even again why I started at the back of this chapter, and we then did one little short video, and we doing another video about fucking tyranny of the mind. Because as I said, like with the metaphysics of astrology, and those of us who went down the astrology path, told you, my cousin was like, bro, what gives astrology so much truth for you and this and whatever? And I was like, bro, I didn't start doing this shit till I was in my 30s. I've been had astrology books. I've been knowing I was a Taurus, but I didn't actually give it much credence and much whatever else, you know what I'm saying? Till I was in my 30s, bro. Like 30, literally like 30, probably on the dot. But I went back to school for mechanical engineering, and that's when I learned about power in its forms of fluid, power in air, power of electricity, and how power works. And that's when things started to, the lines started to blur and the gray areas of this or that, you know what I mean? Like I said, so because your heart beats, and in the same similar fashion of a motor that with coils and whatnot, because your heart beats, it's what produces your biomagnetic field. So when we talk about myths in some of these fantasy books, and they talk about the aura of a person, that's your biomagnetic field. So now you have science and corroborating magic, which is why I have the book where science and magic meet. Nigga, we talking about the same thing. Back in the day, it was a sorcerer with a staff that could shoot magic beams out of it. Nowadays, you have science fiction. It's called science, literally. And what do? They have laser swords in Star Wars. You mean a staff that has a beam of energy coming out of it that you can slice and dice niggas with? It's literally made of light. It lights up the room. So you mean you turn the light? Come on, man. Again, it's a different day and age. And literally the old school, the people, and from 100 or so years ago, I'm just saying, man, the new ones are starting to be born. The evolution starts in the brain. It's not like you're gonna start seeing new humans walk around here and they just look totally fucking different than the old humans. It's a new brain, a new mindset. Like depth perception, when the brain developed the ability to recognize differences and distances and calculate distances. That was a moment in history that they don't really talk about, but it's a moment in history. They call it like the Renaissance. Now all of a sudden you start seeing art, you start seeing nature as far as like space and shit in art. The sky, they're taking pictures of the sky and the planets and whatever else, you know what I'm saying? Not taking pictures, but they're drawing this shit, you know what I'm saying? So the entire mind frame changes, and the old school just dies out. You can't just change your mind or like evolve and you already born. They just die out, and all the new niggas, the newer generations, they do not think the same. You see what I'm saying? Like I was just talking about my kids. At least I was put in church. At least I went to church every Sunday and this and that and whatever else. You see what I'm saying? Well, now I've got hella books, not just the Bible, but I got hella books that debunk, that go through all of that truly explain it in so many different ways. I mean, from all the morals and whatnot that it pushes, which is like what fairy tales used to be about, like Aesop's Fables. I grew up on Aesop's Fables. We had fairy tale books before cartoons and whatnot were very prominent. They just started really making cartoons and shit when I was born. So I'm just saying, the point of it is there were morals to the story. So I got hella books and this and that, but my kids, they've probably went to church a dozen or so times, and I'm not saying I don't believe in it, but I'm not a fan of it. If they mom wants to do it, then by all means go ahead. Even the way I grew up, Pops didn't really do that. Again, he worked like a motherfucker. I worked like crazy, and if I ain't at work, you see, I'm doing this shit and I should be asleep, but I'm doing this shit. So, I mean, I bust ass. I only, sleep like maybe 4 or 5 hours a day. But it is what it is. Again, this is why the magic and all this other shit comes into play. I have the energy to do so. And I'm damn near 40. I run around like I'm 20, nigga. I mean, shit, I've been banging the weights and all kind of shit. But anyways, I'm just saying, the point of all of this is, you know what I'm saying, to get your mind right. So, let's just get back to the book, man. We 15 minutes in. We've been talking a whole lot of shit. All right, I gotta get back to the book. So let's get back to it. What once were and elsewhere are diviners, soothsayers. Here are statisticians. Here are actuaries, chartists, and economic prognosticators. Statisticians. Why the fuck can I not say that? Probably the goddamn tongue ring. But statisticians, people who are, professionals of statistics. The point is, the difference between the two rituals lies in the focus of the procedures. The scientific approach gathers data to empower the mind's rule over the confusion of circumstances, put them in order. There's the pantheon, the different forms of consciousness in the mind, having a mind, understand that your mind is fragmented and you think from different consciousness, right? Or being able to understand what's your normal and what's in your alter ego and the subconscious and whatever else, right? Like this, the shadow, what you're developing in the shadow, right? The difference is today, modern people, the modern mind seeks by gathering data to empower. Okay. All right. The modern ritual. What the fuck is we talking about, right? Let me take a step back. Okay, the tyrannical mind believes in its own power. Okay, I've been drinking, I've been smoking. So the tyrannical mind, all right, seeks by gathering data to empower the mind's rule over the confusion of circumstances and put them in order. Theirs seeks to differentiate and empower the others so that things will fall into a cosmic order. That's also why belief is central to our approach and sacrifice central to theirs. Instead of being cast in the image of a single omnipotent God as in our culture, the human being in these other cultures reflects contesting voices and is imagined to be always in a nexus of relations. So, the thing is, they used to, I could go to different cultures, but like the Greek is one of the main things that we use. So, like Zeus, Ares, Hermes, Aphrodite, Athena, they used to attribute different aspects of life, different aspects of your mind to different gods. You see what I'm saying? When it came to war and anger and passion, that shit was Ares. When it, again, communication, learning, that's Hermes. Agriculture, strategy, strategic thinking, intelligence, that's Athena. You know what I'm saying? And so forth and so on. Different gods had different dominions over different parts of the world, the universe, and also the psyche, the mind. Hell, Psyche is a god. You know what I'm saying? The name Psyche is the name of a god. So just saying, point is, it's also one of the X-Men. But point is, you get my drift here, right? The gods had different dominion over shit. And they even took it so far as to say they had different dominions over your mind. But as we know with everything, when shit goes too far, that's when people start busting it up. And it's like, okay, well, something new has to happen here. It has to. There's no way I can just go on believing the same Christian Bible that I believed as a goddamn kid, especially not now that we have so much information. Even the fact that it's the King James version of the Bible is the most popular version of the Bible, and the one in most churches that I've been in and grew up on, and every church that I went in, they had the King James version. It might have, I've seen like the Women's Bible and the International version of the Bible, and it's scripted slightly different, but even with that, that's the point. How you got all these different Bibles that put the shit, say the same thing in different words, phrase it differently. The Reader's Digest Bible, the compact handheld Bible. You see what I'm saying? Leave out certain shit, put certain chapters only. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying. And it all started with the Gutenberg Bible. They had to write an entirely different Bible for the Native Americans of America when they finally got to America. And imagine how much longer later in life, You know what I'm saying? We're talking hundreds and hundreds of years after the Bible was originally written. They restructured it and wrote it again for the Native Americans, because the Native Americans didn't even have a word in their language for sin. They didn't even believe in that. They didn't create no sin. So they had to make it seem like the sins, the evil ways of some of their ancestors, the ways that some people could consider to be evil of their ancestors, they have to repent for. They have to pay for. Well, you gotta, because your great granddaddy did some evil shit. They hung this man up and they did this with your people. They wrote all that in the Bible. So I'm just saying, man, how can you truly believe that shit, or even just like go through with that? Even again, when you understand that the Bible was translated from Aramaic or ancient Arabic or Sumerian or Babylonian, it was a really, 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 really old dead language that they found it in. So somebody had to translate that. So what the hell? You see what I'm saying? So whatever language you got it in now ain't the language it was originally wrote in. And you can't read, or even, you know what I mean? The average person can't translate Sumerian or whatever the fuck. So if you really want to know what the Bible said, you have to go with what whoever else said it was, unless you get your own connection to whatever source. Or like I got one guy at work, he says the creator of all that is and the universe. That's his male and female. There's the universe and there's the creator of all that is and ever was and ever will be. Something like that. You see what I mean? So call it whatever you want to call it, unless you get connected to that type of source directly yourself and start speaking to God or Jesus or whoever yourself, get your own whatever, then that's how you just believing in what the next person tells you. You just gonna believe in that. Like again, me and the guy at work, how you know this Sunday that this scripture is for me? There's so many people in the church. So I could be listening to somebody else's scripture. It could not be for me. So while we in here, I might be trying to look up my own scripture or go through my own whatever to see what is the message for me this week. How do you know it's one message for everybody in this church? Or is it just what God gave you to share? So I'm just saying, man, you can't have too many prophets, you can't have too many preachers. You gotta go get your own church, bruh. Then you have like the ministers and this and that, you know what I'm saying? You get back up here. I'm just saying that you can have more than one, but you can't have too many. You know what I'm saying? And then, hey, you got your Sunday. But God called me to preach today and this and that. Well, he ain't tell me that, you know what I mean? So I'm going to go ahead and do my thing. God came to you, but he ain't come to me. So, and I'm the head pastor, so I'm going to give my sermon this week. And maybe, possibly, if God comes and gives me a sign or something, you can do your sermon next week. Man, anyways, I'm just saying, man, back to the book. Talk a lot of shit, as you can see. So, again, the point was, in the old ways, which is like I was talking about the left-hand path, but in the old ways, it was the people were obliged to ask, who is in command now? Which principle, which myth, which power now has usurped the throne and is making up my mind? Which is some shit they would now call you schizophrenic, you diagnosed with multiple personalities. There are some people who operate like that. But again, this is also in the book of the shadows. All the shit that you repress, that you say that ain't you, that you would never do, that you not this type of person and you ain't that type of whatever, and you don't, a lot of them thoughts that you try to block yourself having, like murder, rape, any of that, you know what I'm saying, like sexual fantasies. That was one of the main things that got the Christians into a lot of problems, because they started saying even the fantasies in your mind are sin. So now you got to block your own thoughts, you know what I'm saying? It ain't like, oh, the devil's putting thoughts in your mind or demons are sending these to you. No, ain't none of that. That's you, and you got to do it yourself. You see what I'm saying? Christianity even helped with that tyrannical mind, that singularity of the brain. There's only you and God / Jesus Christ, whatever. That is it. Ain't nothing else going on in your head. Ain't no other whatever. So you got to figure out who you are, and then once that it, you can't go back on that. You got to stand on business. The more you stand on business, the more you repress shit, and it creates a shadow. And the reason why it's called like the shadow, it it may be dark and whatnot, but the shadow is not inherently evil, which we would talk about. But the shadow is just a part of you. Is this a different version of you? It's the not you, which is why I talk about, again, like actors and whatnot. They don't all play bad roles or bad people. They just act like a different person besides who they normally are. And that's what ends up happening with your shadow. Say you're a extroverted person or introverted person, you know, you just like me, read a lot of books, you keep to yourself, you real quiet. So that loud and wild, vivacious person is who you putting off. You know, you don't have them thoughts every time you want to like jump out there or do something silly or whatever else. You could be a conservative person. Every time you want to do something silly, that part you just push over to the side. So that gets developed into a shadow. So when you get drunk, all of a sudden you the life of the party, or you this or you that, you let loose or you whatever else. There's like people like Black Adam, like I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. That's why you don't know, because you let loose, you let your shadow take over. You know what I'm saying? You get drunk. I had to say, man, people tell the truth when they drunk. That's because they repress a lot of this shit. They want to act like they nice, or they want to act like they're good, whatever. They act like they're acting the whole time. As I said, people who only know they sun sign, oh, I was born in April, so that makes me a Taurus. That's just how you behave. That's how you're going to act. I'm going to act like a Taurus, but how I feel, how I think, the shit I like, all of that could be in a totally different sign, which means I'm a totally different nigga when I'm in a totally different mood. Everybody goes through this shit. This is what everybody's doing. So I'm just saying, you a basic nigga if you only know basic shit, right? Advanced. This is why, like I said, I came straight to the back of the book, and we moving through this. So again, rituals of reflective questioning empower the others, as with the dream interpretation. I not only watch what the I does or does not do, but what are the others doing, and who are they, and why are they there in my dream at all? The first question in the polytheistic model of the mind is about the others, as it was in Greece when consulting the oracle. They did not ask the oracle, what's wrong with me, or what should I do now? They asked the oracle, to which god or goddess do I turn in this situation? Who now has the power? That simple question, who, announces that I am not in sole command and that my tyrannical potential has been put in question. So again, back to like the Christianity shit. They understand this wholeheartedly. Jesus, take the wheel. You hear that shit a lot. That's something you've heard, right? Jesus, take the wheel. I'm not in control of my life. The Lord works in mysterious ways. Thy will be done, O Lord. Dear Lord, command me, guide me, use me. You hear all this all the time, right? It's the same thing they say, but the difference is it's only one God. There's only one creator when it comes to Christianity. But again, another reason, logically, what starts to, which is why you have to just have a blind faith like a slave. You just believe what you're told. You kind of have to go there, because if there's one God that does everything and then he's whatever, then the devil don't really matter. Satan don't really matter. God's in control of all of that. He's everywhere. He's all-knowing, all-powerful. He's doing this. He's understanding. That's why they be saying, how some people like the atheists, how can the same God allow all of this mass genocide and da 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 da? How you know he didn't order it? You know what I'm saying? You can't say a God or the God is God and then put him in the same human constraints that humans have to go through, or give him the same morals and values that a human has to go through. You could do Jesus like that, but Jesus ain't God. Jesus was a man, or was whatever the fuck. Jesus is Jesus. It's not God. That's why he has a different name. Jesus, not God, or Jehovah, Yeshua, whatever the fuck. But it ain't God. You see what I'm saying? Jesus is the way, but he ain't God. You thank God. Some people thank Jesus, but Jesus ain't God. You see what I mean? I'm just saying, man. Point is, if it's a God, then he can do godly shit like create the universe. He don't just do human shit. So murder, this or that. It's not the same. You see what I mean? And the same God who in the Old Testament, that's why a lot of they come out the New Testament, don't really talk about the Old Testament, but this shit was flooded. The Tower of Babel struck lightning, sent that down, killed everybody, killed half, killed most of them, transformed most of them, and then turned the other one, and then put everybody else dialect to where, now everybody's speaking different dialects. There's so many different languages on the planet, where it used to just be all humans spoke one language and everybody understood the shit that everybody else was saying. Now there's dialects, so many different languages. God did all of that in the Old Testament, that same nigga. But he's supposed to be nothing but good. He can't just be all good and then the devil is all evil. Don't work like that. It didn't work like that in the Old Testament. Now all of a sudden it's working like that. That's why you have like a Lucifer figure, and then you have Satan. Why you keep getting different names for different niggas? Because they did different things. It's different stories, but you just have to have blind faith that Lucifer is Satan. Then when the fuck did he get a whole nother name? And no, they don't make that distinction in the Bible to people who actually study the Bible. It does not say, oh, Lucifer is now Satan. They now call him Satan. And there's no passage in there that says that. It's not there. One minute they talking about Lucifer, the next minute they talking about this figure named Satan. Now you can make them, again, tribal science, brains, beliefs, and bad ideas. You can make them the same person if you want to make them the same person. You can do that if you want to. That's up to you. Again, the tyrannical mind, make up your own mind, nigga. Do you? But that's the point. There's too much information out here. So anyways, that sums that up. So now that we actually got through that part, again, just to kind of run it right back, who is in command now? If you never think, or again, which personality am I operating out of? You know what I'm saying? Again, being aware, okay, I'm around business. As I said before, if naturally around my parents, certain older people and whatnot, I just don't curse. I don't say certain things, or just it is what, I'm at work. White people that I don't say nigga, or certain white people, I look them straight in their face and say nigga anyway, because I don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it's different rhetoric for different people, different circles, but you got to understand, like, what energy you're coming with. It's how they look at, like, what vibe are you giving off now? You know what I mean? What mood are you in? For like Cancer's most water signs, when you're in a certain mood, like I said, they talk about the Snickers commercial, being hangry, or when you're hungry, being hangry. You know what I mean? It's the same kind of thing. When you're hungry, you have a different mind frame, a different mindset. You know what I'm saying? Going through something traumatic, being depressed, and being able to, knowing and recognizing that because you're in a different mindset, or you're in a different mind frame, you're going to think differently, or your ideas are going to be colored in a different light depending on your mood or whatever else. That shit matters. Again, self-analysis, self-observation, critical thinking. You got to do this shit yourself. But to even, if you believe that you're perfect the way you are, and you don't do anything wrong, or there's nothing wrong with the way you did this or did that, that's where, like, sympathy versus empathy, you know what I'm saying, being able to understand, or how they say, walk a mile in the next man's shoes. Some people actually have to do that. They have to experience it before they be like, oh, okay, I see what you mean, or I see what you think, or whatever, I get it. Like I'm quick to say about the whole make it make sense. Nigga, it makes sense to me. If it don't make sense to you, that's not my fault. I can explain it to me, or I know what it feels like. You don't. Some people, the only way you're going to understand it is if you go through it yourself, if you do it yourself. So me sitting here trying to explain it is a waste of my time and your time. The point, you too stupid to realize you're wasting your own time asking questions. Because you're never going to understand it. You'll never get it. It will never make sense. So trying to make it make sense is a waste of fucking time. Even if it made sense, what you gonna do about it? See how feelings, emotions matter more than logic? Not necessarily more than logic. It's a balance. You gotta have both, left brain and right brain. You don't have one inside of there. You got to have both. Even just that split alone, recognize, am I being too emotional? Am I being too logical? Or am I balanced in this? But if you only think you have one mind that does one thing and it's only one track, or if you always come from the one side and never the other side, or you never, you know what I'm saying, then how could you recognize the way someone else thinks or someone else, you know what I mean? You've been programmed. Again, Mind Control 101, Dark Psychology 101. I got all these books. It's the whole point. You've been programmed. And again, it's not good or bad or whatever. It's just the way you grew up. That was your life, how you lived it, the decisions that you've been making, period. That's just all it is to it. That's the shit you've been doing with your life. Like I said, man, my parents never pressured me to go to college or whatever. If you do, you do. If you don't, you don't. I made a decision. But they never was like, you got to go to college. We all go to college. Everybody goes to college. And nah, that was on me. You know what I'm saying? And that's everybody else. Like, again, you was in high school. Like my father always said, just something I was told. But again, I was given that option. But you can be this, you can be the class clown. I got into hella fights, all that. But what I wasn't going to do was look like I'm stupid. That's all it was to it. You can get the grades, you can be silly, you can get the referrals, you can whatever else, but don't go in there acting like you're stupid. Now, if you try your hardest and all you can get is C's and B's or D's and C's, and you really trying or you really don't get it, we can get you some help or some tutors, and that don't work, that's just you're not picking it up, so be it. But if you could be in there making A's and B's, why ain't you? Why do you want people to think you stupid? They can think that you silly, they can think you a class clown, which, I got labeled with behavior issues, but very intelligent, but behavior issues. Yeah, I'm smart as shit. I do what I want to do, though. There's a difference. I don't just follow orders blindly. Been like that my whole life. You can't just tell me some shit. Again, I got experience, or I got to do it myself, or I feel like if my way is the better way, then that's just what's going to have to happen, nigga. And we'll figure out what happens there. Really, it was like I said, man, I didn't grow up with a certain shit. I had old school parents, so I was old school at a young age. You call me a bitch, I'm going to smack the shit at you. I don't understand that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like I said, me the cops say, I've never seen my father hit a woman, this or whatever. I don't do that. You know what I mean? So all the poking and prodding of this or whatever, it's not me. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to sit there and take it, but I'm not going to ball up my fist. I don't start slapping. It's not in me to immediately, once things get heated or whatever else, it's just not in my makeup to just start swinging or whatever. I'm not going to shut you up that way. I mean, hell, I'm loud as fuck. You're not going to scream louder than me. You can't out-talk me. I'm smart as fuck. I'm logical as fuck. So whatever you saying, I can just flip that back on you. It's just, there's other ways than actually hitting them up. I'm just saying I never done that. So, it's just weird how certain shit plays out. But that's how I'm saying, how motherfuckers get locked into who they are and what they think they are. I don't take no disrespect. I said, listen, these motherfuckers at work, bro. I don't do shit. This is what she signed up for. Really? Well, then them are the decisions that you made, nigga. So you make them decisions. So when you can only get a woman of a certain caliber or this or that's the decisions that you make. It's on you. So again, and why did you make it? It's a tyrannical mind. Even just being able to recognize, you know what? My mind has so much power over me. It's crazy. Who I am, who I think I am, what I think about myself. This is, again, tribal science, right? Let's go straight into tribal science because it's not much. Put simply, Gaza niggas, Gaza niggas, Gaza nigga, Gaza whatever the fuck. GAZZANIGA. Gaza niggas experiment showed that I don't know is simply not an answer the brain is happy with. Again, tribal science, brain's belief, not idea. I don't know is simply not an answer the brain is happy with. We have evolved brains that go to great lengths to find a context for what we sense. We will fabricate, make up. We will fabricate stories based on our shared experiences. Shared. Nigga, you and the people you know will make shit up. Again, we'll make it make sense, whether it's true or not, but you make it make sense. Anyways, we will fabricate stories based on our shared experiences and communicate them effectively with others, even if the information is rather limited. So again, you can't necessarily blame your parents, even though, that's where the quote-unquote fault lies if you want to look at it like it's a negative thing. But they only know what they know. They only was taught what they was taught, nigga. That's why you was raised the way you was raised. I look at my kids like, nigga, we got what we got. We do what we do because this is what we have, nigga. If we could do better, we would. But this is what it is, nigga. This is life for you. You know what I'm saying? I didn't grow up like this. I didn't grow up like it, but didn't have the parents that you got. Nigga, that's not my mama. That's your mama. And guess what? You still got to respect her. Give a fuck if you don't think it's this or whatever else. Guess what? Talking back is talking back. You know why you don't do me like that? Because I don't give a shit what you say, right or wrong. I didn't ask you anything, and if you talk back to me, I'm gonna politely walk over there and smack the shit at you. And ain't nobody gonna stop me from doing it. And I don't give a shit who's around, who sees it, who cares. I'm an adult. I'll take whatever consequences come with that. I don't know what you do for your respect, but I'll die for mine. But I show you how I was raised, how the motherfucking old schoolers did it back in my day, whether it was my grandmother or my mother or my father. I tell my baby mama all the time, the only difference between my mother and my father, Pops would just manhandle you because he got that kind of strength. Mom would go grab a belt, grab a this, grab a that, whatever. And it was just, what you say? Oh, okay, let me show you what I think about that. And that was it. Wasn't gonna be no whole lot of talking. Like I tell my kid, hey, ain't nobody ask you anything. I tell the little ones now. That's how you get mind control. I'm the one. I tell them that. Hey, didn't nobody ask you anything? Oh, but I don't want to. I didn't ask you how you felt. We didn't ask you anything. So why are you replying with anything? Hey, she said, do it. Do it. Hey, I said, do it. Do it. You can do it now or do it after I make you do it, but it's going to get done. You know, like my son, I'm gonna play this game. Okay, he knows. So that means you have a 60-second countdown. The next time I walk back in here, I'm not gonna ask you. I will politely reach over and unplug everything. Yeah, man, fuck your game, fuck your friends. Fuck what you playing, fuck what you talking about. You gonna do what I said do because I said do it. Now, I didn't ask you. I asked you the first time. Now I'm telling you. Period. And you gonna deal with the consequences. You know what I'm saying? Again, I posed this question, right? Me and the African dude, because now, you know, he's married and he's got a kid and he's, you know, but he's like, yeah, he gets it. I'm like, and that's the old school way. I used to tell this to my baby mama, right? So when the officers tell him to get out the car, put your hands behind your back. And they start with the whole, I don't want to, I'm trying to tell you, and what you think gonna happen when they say it again and they don't do it? Bop, bop, bibbity, boop, bop, they gonna force them to do it. So guess what? I'm showing them how life really works. This is what happens in the real world. This is what happens in real life. Once you've been given an order from an authority. I'm an authority. You see what I'm saying? Again, maturity. Don't you know what I'm saying? I'm not like, hey, I'm your daddy. I'm your father. Clearly I'm an adult. That's why I said, like, I don't dye these gray hairs, none of that. I want everybody to see. Clearly I'm not young, nigga. I am not an adult. Told you last fight I got into, nigga was like, man, we can go. We can do 101. We can da-da-da. I said, cool. You sure? He was like, yeah, man, we'll do it. Pow, 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 pow. Nigga, I stole on him. Blip, 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 blip. Fuck you talking about, bro? You said we could fight, so we fighting. Boom. That's all it is to it. They didn't ask you shit. I'm not here to talk or listening to nothing. Old school. As soon as you disrespect, this is what you getting. This is what it is. But you see a man, don't you? All right then. Do I look like a kid? No. Oh, okay. Okay. So guess what I'm not gonna handle you like one. You see that? You know my title. You know who I am. My baby mama used to get pissed because I tell the kids, we speak English. You speak English, don't you? You understand the words coming out of my mouth? Yeah, all right then. So I know you heard me. I know you understand me. I'm not saying it twice. That's the point. I shouldn't have to say it again. Guess what's going to happen if I do? Again, behavior is learned. Sociology, mind control 101, it's repetition. That's why you say your ABCs over and over and over. It's repetition. Every single time you do this, I'm going to do this. Every single time. That's why I say I don't care what it is, what the situation is, so that when it is a heated one or when it is something I really want done, I'm upset or I'm in my serious mode, I'm like, do it, you know, then we ain't even got to talk through that. Oh, however, you know, again, if it's a serious situation like CPR or whatever else, hey, grab that, put this on that, do this, do that. It gets done without hesitation. That's how that type of behavior is learned, you know. That's what it is. So again, when you deal with men, when you deal with whatever, hey, this is what it is. Like again, just to share this, you know, with you, we've been spending time, fuck it. But like I said, with my son, right, when he first went off to school, all the female teachers he got an issue with. Hell, just the other day, I was telling baby mama, like, you know, again, you see, he does not do that shit with me. I don't appreciate. You know what I'd have said? What would have happened? He came telling us this fucking story, and I'm like, you know what would have happened if I told my mama, I don't appreciate you saying, pop, oh, you don't? Smack, 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 smitty, smack, smitty, smack. I don't give a damn. It don't make me no difference. Dominique like, but he be blocking and he whatever else. I'm like, that's what the mini slugger bats are for. She be like, but man, I don't want to. That's why they mini slugger bats. You don't pick up the big slugger bat. You got to get the mini slugger bat, but you going to better beat some respect into this, nigga. This is why you do it when they're kids. When they're so little, all you got to do is tap hands. Then what's understood is understood. Respect is earned, and it's learned at a very young age. So I'm just tapping their hand, tapping their little foot, tapping their little lips. You know what I'm saying? That way they get it understood. This is, you know, it's back to mind control, whatever else. But when it's just little things, hell, when they so young they can't snitch on you. Now they can go around and straight up tell, oh, this is the, you know, I came downstairs with the belt. The boy just looked, he's like, go ahead, Dad. Go ahead. I already know you're going to hit me. I already know it's, just go ahead. Go ahead, man. Oh, you tough. You didn't even the face. It ain't even nothing to you. Well, since this isn't going to be effective, goddamn the new school, can't even just sit there and take your lick like a man. Just take your whooping and go on back to business. Can't even take it. Go ahead, hit me, Dad. Just go. All right, well, I tell you what I'm going to do then. Give me this PlayStation and the TV, nigga. How about that? And I dare you to ask for it back or this or that or any of this. You see what I'm saying? And I still might catch you off guard and pop your big ass just because I ain't want it. Hey, man. I'm just saying, dude. When I'm around, you gonna respect me and every adult around this motherfucker, even if it's just for the simple fact that they're adults. You gonna act like you know how to. You're going. This is again, act like you got some sense. That's what you gonna do when Dad's around, or when I'm here, or when I'm whatever. I don't give a shit. It's not gonna happen. Cause that's why, like, technically, he didn't even come and tell me the story. Went and told his mom, cause telling me everything would have stopped. You did what? You said what? See, coming from my world, if I knew there wouldn't be much pushback like from baby mama, right? As soon as he said, well, I told her I didn't appreciate what, especially if it was my mama. You told my mama what? Come here. Smack! I didn't appreciate you telling my mom what you don't appreciate, nigga. But they be like, man, you know, I'm nuts. So I'm with I don't. They'll be highly respectable. You know what I'm saying? When I first met baby mama's mama, I was, yes, ma'am, how you do it, whatever. And with it, you know what I'm saying? First impressions is everything, but they're highly respect. They show some respect. Now, once it's established, oh, okay, well, cool. I can talk like this. I can loosen up a little. That all right. But I'm going to show you I know how to act off the drip first and foremost. You know, but again, I'm just saying, when my kid went to school, he was wilding out on all the female teachers. And when the men, which mostly they're security guards, there's not a lot of male teachers. But when it came to the men, he would straighten up, or he would, you know, kind of this or whatever. But, you know what I'm saying? Even with that, it came a situation where they finally called me, like mom was busy or whatever, and they called me. And I'm like, hold on, is that him in the background? Yeah. I'm like, hey, put me on speakerphone. They put me on speakerphone. Hey, man, I don't care what's going on. I know you better stop whining right now. I can't even hear him talking because all I hear is you in the background screaming and crying. You better stop that right now. I'm coming up there to get you. I will come get you right now. You can stop that. He shut up immediately. The man shut up immediately. And then the person got back on the phone and was, well, sir, that's all. You know, we really just wanted him to calm down. And hold on now, tell me the situation. They ain't tell me, hadn't said anything, didn't talk about what. All I know, I heard my son crying and that had to stop. Now we can talk. Now we can have a conversation. Now we can whatever. But I wasn't getting ready to talk with my son screaming and crying. I mean, again, this is like primal shit. You see what I'm saying? When the baby cries or the kids crying, screaming, I'm about action. Somebody about to get whooped. I got to jump to action. Kids crying that you need to get saved. So what's going on? So a kid crying or whining, it's not a good thing. You know what I'm saying? That's like instincts. It does something to you. Just like a mom, the mothers, when they hear a kid crying, it does something to them. It doesn't matter what kid it is, so to speak. It's like a female thing. So I'm on the same shit. I hear my kid crying or whatever else. It's like daddy mode. You instantly go into protective. And if there ain't nothing to protect, I got to solve this issue. But first things first, I need my kids to stop crying, stop whining, stop whatever's going on, whatever's ailing them, hurting them, causing them pain or trauma. They need to stop that. Sometimes it's just that. But anyway, it's my bad. Again, like I said, I roll off. I trail. Point is, hey, they was like, hey, well, shoot, we'll just call you. No, man, tell me the situation. Tell me what's going on. Tell me what's happening here. And then after that, me and her had to have a conversation like, look, I'm telling you, you're not going to have to do it too many times. Once it's understood, something solid, a solid pop or something is coming behind that. Like I said, the little mini slugger bat. It don't matter if you block. That's one of the things about fighting anyway. I don't care if you block. Put your hands up like boxers. Put your hands up, nigga. I'm gonna punch your hands and your hands are gonna punch you. I don't give a shit what I hit. We used to trade licks when I was in school, punch each other's shoulders, like trade licks. So me punching you in the shoulder is eventually, it's gonna hurt like hell. It don't matter where I hit you. You're getting hit, buddy. You're not avoiding this. Just like the police. Hey, you've been given directives. Hey, you violate it. It doesn't matter. You can't turn around and say, I'm sorry after you done robbed a bank. It don't matter if you take the money back. It don't matter. You held up the place. You caused the crime. So you're going to get penalized for it. That's what, again, Sociology 101. The first system that you go through is called a family. That's the first institution that you go through before you get institutionalized by anything else. It is the family unit. What we do here, what we don't do here. How you can act and how you can't act. That is literally your parents who put you through that. Whether they teach you or don't teach you. Whether they raise you or don't raise you. Like I said in the case of my father's father, who was not there. Him not doing none of the shit as a father is what made my father who he was. You know what I'm saying? And then the shit that my father didn't do is what makes me into the father that I am. Well, my father wasn't like this or like that. I mean, he worked so much, which I could have and do. You know what I'm saying? I mean, shit, Pops was all about the bread. I got $1 million ideas. I went back to school. I mean, at one point, I was in maintenance. If I was still in maintenance, I'd be making $35 fucking an hour now. But, situations go how it go. I ended up having kids with who I had kids with. This is life, you know what I'm saying? And it was more important that my kids have some type of, again, the foundation who built who they are. They know who they are. They're important. They're individuals. They're special in their own rights. All of this shit is heavy. It's work. You know what I mean? It's work. I don't think I was ever in a daycare or anything like that. My parents raised us. So it wasn't like I was pawned off or put off on someone else. They got everything they got from, I got everything I got from my mother and my father. They getting everything they getting from us. Now I can handle it. You know what I'm saying? Hell, sometimes I bust out and I sing, I bark. I'm loud as shit too. So I know, I can handle it. And sometimes, I erupt on my kids. Why y'all so loud? Why you gotta But there are other times when I realize, we're loud. We have strong lungs. There's singers in this family. You know what I'm saying? We're very vocal. Hell, they mom, she ain't quiet either. So it's just like I remind myself of these things. I return, hey, why are you yelling at me, bro? Why are you screaming at me? My son, you right here. I'm right here. I'm right in front of you, man. Why are you yelling at me? You ain't got to yell at me. I'm right here. I don't take it bad all the time. You know what I'm saying? I just, but I have to remind them, hey, y'all too loud. Just talk. You don't have to yell at each other. Stop screaming. Stop doing this or doing that. Now, like I just said, those are the same traits that they're going to need when they get into arguments with other people in school and whatever else, like I said, somebody trying to out-talk you, well, my kids are loud. You ain't going to be able to scream at them and think they ain't going to scream back, man. Nah, they with it. They will get at you, and then as the second, they ain't going to take that. They don't take it from their own brother and sister, so they ain't not going to take it from any regular schmo or Joe out in these streets either. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, like I said, my daughter, she got 2 brothers. She don't take, hey, man, look. The only thing that scares me about the martial arts and stuff that I did, putting them in, is that they fuck around and start beating each other up. And it's like, you're supposed to apply this to everybody else out there. You know what I'm saying? They be practicing with each other, and next thing you know, one get hit a little hard, so the next one's gonna kick them a little harder. Next thing you know, they really out here, man, trying to kill each other with the karate chops and shit. That's what I'm worried about. My kids be on one. But anyways, that's the point here, man. I'm sorry. Let's get back to tribal science, man. Again, simply put, we have evolved brains that go to great lengths to find the context for what we sense. We will fabricate stories based on our shared experiences and communicate them effectively with others, even if the information is rather limited. You only know what you know. You see what I'm saying? It's back to like the one book, again, another book, The Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman and The Black Woman's Guide to Understanding the Black Man, written by Shahrazad Ali in the early to mid 90s. Back to them books, man. If you really talk about the slavery shit and coming out of slavery, our grandmothers didn't really know shit. They wasn't really giving shit. They didn't really have a lot to work with. So passing it down and how to survive and whatnot, man, going along with the rules, going with the flow, being a nice Christian. You know, it talks about how, you know, that type of stuff was how you didn't get whipped. You didn't want them to kill your kids, and you had to literally watch your defiant kids, or what, you know what I mean? So you had to put mind control the kids to go along with this shit. And as the kids grow up, the generations, they don't know no difference. They don't know the secrets hidden in the Christianity, hidden in the Bible. They don't know what true spirituality and this and that is. They just going with the flow. Everybody's saying this is what everybody's been doing. My family has always been in the church, and we've always did this and do that, so it's what I'm always going to do too. We always going to have the same this that we always going to do. This cycle perpetuates itself. So all they had to do was get niggas stuck in one mode, and then they start training themselves. You don't need a master when you got slaves training other slaves. So as soon as they have kids, they teaching their kids how to be good ass slaves. This is what it is. Like I said, I told my daughter her sophomore year of high school, you know, and she don't live with me. She got her own mom, but this is the type of man I am, you know, which is probably a good thing. Point is, her sophomore year of high school, I was like, if you can go, if in 6 months you can get your GED, in 6 months you can study and get your GED in 6 months, and your GED is all you need to get a job. It's really all you need for the basic whatever to go to college as well, to get accepted to a college, a GED or a high school diploma. What do you need 4 years of high school? Why do you think they make you go to high school for 4 years? Why do you think that is? What you think that's for? Even the different subjects, you know, we laugh and we joke, but I promise you, in my 39 years of life, nigga, I have never, on not one job, never ever had to figure out A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Never, nigga. I ain't never had to figure out a right angle, a obtuse triangle. I ain't never had to do it, nigga. Pi 3.14, whatever the fuck, ain't never came up. And again, mechanical engineering, I've done this. Never had to do it. When you actually get out here in the real world, all them subjects, all that chemistry, why? Nigga, I've never had to, oh, this is a mitochondrion. This is a dodecahedron. Why? I've never had to do it. Never. Physics, velocity, this and that, never had to figure it out. It never came into play. Why? It's the type of mindset, the mind frame. You know, even getting you used to wearing uniforms, because you wear uniforms at work. It ain't even wearing uniforms to work, but you'll have work gear. Like if you work in a warehouse, then you need jeans. There's a dress code. So even if it isn't a uniform, it's a dress code. So getting you used to a dress code. Like I said, same thing with church. There's a dress code, getting you used to wearing shirts and ties, button downs, suits, business casual. That's the dress code for church. Business casual. It can get a bit fanciful. It can be a bit luxurious, but that's the dress code for a church atmosphere. Business casual. It gets you used for real life. Being a good worker. Punching the clock. You got to get up and get on that bus. You got to get out there. I mean, is there not Tarks? Well, in my city, there's a Tark. School bus, nigga. Same shit. It's always the same shit. This is what school is for. Mind control. This is what this shit is for. So again, tribal science, brain beliefs, and bad ideas. I just want to throw that out there, right? Let's go a little bit deeper. Humans have eyes that can only detect colors of wavelengths in the range of approximately 380 to 750 nanometers. We can't see the amazing ultraviolet patterns bees can see on many flowers or the hazy infrared glow of a warm body. Our hearing is limited to vibrations little slower than 20 per second and rarely much faster than 20,000 per second. The call of a bat as it seeks its prey is silent to our ears, while the rumble of an elephant in the distance as it calls to others in its herd might only be felt as a subtle caressing in our guts. See, the limited range of perception has allowed our branch of the family tree, humans, to survive in a very narrow section of the universe. Our cognitive tools were not shaped by a need to describe our universe in perfect detail, but rather by a need to negotiate our way through family squabbles and work within our tribal relationships to collectively deal with the unpredictable elements of nature. We are primed to quickly recognize a face. Again, kids know who their grandmother is. They know who their daddy is. They know. I said this many times. I don't give a shit what's going on with my baby mamas or whatever else. If I have a baby, I'm going to be there. I'm going to do whatever I got to do. Lie, cheat, steal. But I'm just playing. But I'm going to do whatever I got to do. I'm going to play the nice guy. I'm going to whatever the fuck I got to do to make sure they know who their father is. Because after like 2 years of consistent, like they know who their daddy. I don't give a fuck what nigga you bring in front of them. They know who daddy is. And they know their father loves them. So you can, now we can break up, we can separate, we can go wherever direction you want to go. From now, we good. You know what I'm saying? I was there in their life the first couple years. They know exactly who daddy is. And I'm over it after that. But I mean, it's deeper than that with me. But so I'm just saying, for some people, at the end of the day, like, that shit truly matters. Especially again when you know. Like I've had sociology classes, I've had psychology classes. It's like I'm not ignorant to this type of knowledge now. I know how the brain, kids' personalities, again, how the mind is developed throughout the years. They don't have a fully developed brain. No one has a fully developed brain until you in the 20s, but you graduate high school at 18, 19, somewhere in there. You see what I'm saying? Your brain is not fully developed. This is science. They do experiments on this shit, which is why we got the tribal science, the books. Again, man, we got a whole nother book where science and magic meet. This is where this shit comes from. So anyways, check it out. Our cognitive tools, our brains, were not shaped by a need to describe our universe in perfect detail, but rather by a need to negotiate our way through family squabbles and work within our tribal relationships to collectively deal with the unpredictable elements of nature. We are primed to quickly recognize a face, to pick words from a cacophony of sounds, to attribute emotions and thoughts to other objects. See? Pick words from a cacophony of sounds. You know what I mean? This is what I was saying, like, about language. They be like, ¿Cómo se dice libro en inglés? Somebody be like, book. ¿Cómo se dice naranja en inglés? Orange. ¿Cómo se dice blanco en inglés? White. ¿Cómo se dice, how do you say in español? In Spanish. ¿Cómo se dice? So, The fact that you now the brains understand certain words in certain languages, right? That's what it's meant to do. It's not meant to tell you the truth. The brain is not here to tell you the truth. You have to figure out what the truth is and then program your brain with the truth. In the book I got talking about the zodiac and whatever else, cerebellum, CERE is the seed word, is the root word for like cereal. Again, cerebellum. But CERE, it means seed. It could also mean wax. So this is why I like your cerebellum. Basically, the material, the gray stuff in your brain, they call it, it's like wax. It's a waxy material. It can be imprinted. But point is wax. So you have to literally learn in order to make up your own mind. Again, if you didn't know what the color blue was, if you didn't know the name for that color was blue, you would call it whatever you would call it, but you wouldn't know what to call it. Your brain wouldn't know how to compute it. You would just be like, well, that. What is that? That. Would you even know? Like, I remember with my kid, my daughter, I was like, she doesn't know that letters are called letters. So when you're asking her what letter is that, she doesn't know that it is a letter. You should ask her, what is this picture? What is this? What is it that you're looking at? These are letters. First, she needs to know that they're called letters. How the fuck do y'all not fucking recognize that? And y'all the motherfucking teachers. And I didn't go to school for fucking teachers. I just read shit. You know, I mean, again, the classes that I've had, sociology, so I just like understand how people learn, how the mind works, so to speak. It's like, what the fuck? Y'all keep asking her this and she's stumbling and this and that, man. Yeah, we need smarter people. Where are the teachers with the masters, the PhDs? She needs some real help. People who actually help people who need help. Not people who just do this in general. I mean, what the fuck? These regular ass teachers are not what she needs. But, I mean, again, I'm just saying, man, they had to understand. First, she needs to know that these symbols are called letters. Then you can say, what letter is this? What letter is that? You know what I mean? We got to take a step back. We got, you know what I mean? There's a process to this. You know, so, again, that's the point, man. And individuals, on occasions, okay, yeah. All right. We are primed to quickly recognize a face, yada, yada, yada. Individuals who find themselves alienated from, on occasions when these talents malfunction, individuals find themselves alienated from the community, handicapped in their attempt to connect and engage with others, often to the point of isolation. So again, when you can't connect with other people socially, we don't speak the same language, so no matter what you saying out your mouth, they don't understand what you most people, I mean, you will find yourself alienated, or they just isolate themselves, period. If every time you keep talking, people don't understand you, instead of trying to explain yourself, or like I said with the whole like make it make sense, if the shit makes sense to you, or like here's something I try to explain to my son. People in all the time, not to even single him out, but this is something I try to explain to people. They don't care. They don't care. You can explain it all day long, but just because your reasons, you're the factors that motivate you, the shit that moves you, the shit you care about, doesn't mean the next person is going to care about it. And I like to use mathematics because it's purely logical, but it makes the point, right? So we need to get to 4. 2 plus 2 equals 4. And it's the easy, most simplest way. All you need is the number 2. That's it. 2 and 2. 2 plus 2 equals 4. So you should like using 2 plus 2. It's so easy. You should like it. Notice how like and logic, easy is practical. You know, like is emotional. Easy is logical. Is the action word. You know what I'm saying? Like is emotional. It's a feeling word. So you should feel the same way I feel because you now have the same information I have. Well, nigga, I can see the same color that you can see. I see blue. I see red. I see orange. My favorite color is green. I see the same color you see, but I don't like the same thing that you like. How we feel are two different things. We're having two different conversations. So you can explain all day long. If they don't feel the same way you feel, it doesn't matter what you think. 2 + 2 = 4. But guess what? I like 1 + 3 because I like the letter 3. So you use your 2s. I'm going to use 1 + 3 because I like it. It has nothing to do with logic. So at some point, if you have explained yourself, if you've told somebody what matters to you and everything, how you think, and they still own something else, then guess what? It ain't about how you think. Now it's about feelings. They don't care how you think. And care is a feeling word. Alright? See how these books, see how this shit, that's what I said, man. We've been talking shit for an hour, man. But this is, you gotta connect these fucking dots, man. This is why we do this shit. Man, this is what this is for. And I appreciate you taking the time to rock with your boy. But that's what this shit's about. Took me a long ass time, I guess, to get that out. But there you go, man. That's what this shit is about. There you go. Right there. This is why I'm talking about the tyrannical mind. Because again, when you locked into the way you think, you locked into your mind frame, you're not, you're not, as they say, open-minded or willing to consider. It's not even considering. Again, I don't have to give a shit about none of the factors. All I have to know is that that's what you care about. You see what I'm saying? That's what you care about. You don't care about what I care about. If I'm telling you what I care about and you saying, well, but what about this? But okay, so you don't care about what I care about. We don't think the same. It's deeper than we don't think the same. We don't feel the same about the same information. It's not changing you. It's not affecting you the way it's affecting me. So okay, I don't need to even talk to you about it. Being able to recognize that, man. All right. Let's move to the next book, right? I just wanted to share that with you. We're going to keep going too far into the tribal mind. Again, each one of these books deserves their own fucking breakdown and whatever else. And if you like it, we can rock with it. But this is going to be one of them long ones. Clearly, we already an hour in. This is definitely getting ready to be one of them long ones. I might as well go get me some more drink, man. I might as well go get me some more drink. Matter of fact, let's pause this, and I am going to go get some more drink. I'll be right back. Oh, my bad. Let me get the mic. Oh, we got good shit. Oh, man, I'm glad you stayed with me an hour and some change. Y'all the real ones, man. Love y'all for that. Thank you for rocking this whole hour, man. I love y'all for that, man. And you know what time it is. If I take one more drink. Woo. It's definitely tequila in that. Which means we get ready to turn up. But look. Flip to page 33. Love that number. Love that number. Especially when you double it up, triple it up, quadruple it, quintuple it. I don't give a fuck. Just put 3s in it, nigga. Tequila tastes so good. Black tastes so good. We back. Alright, my bad. Let me get back on track. Alright, so check this out. I found this for y'all. The storytelling monkey. Right? The skills we as individuals rely on to solve problems appear to be different from those that we use as members of a community. An ability to empathize, identify emotional cues, communicate effectively, and cooperate tends to serve us better when it comes to collectively solving problems than being lone masterminds. The complexities of our speech are linked with our ability to cooperate socially. Our single greatest asset has less to do with how we as individuals deal directly with the wider environment. How we as individuals deal directly with the wider environment has less to do with that, more with how we use our brains to work as a tribe in collecting information and seeking useful patterns. In a rather broad sense, in layman's terms, to sum it up, Our brains have evolved as little more than storytelling machines used to share experiences that involve our friends, enemies, ancestors, and sometimes even individuals who aren't other people. Even individuals who aren't other people, like ghosts, fictional, fake people, not really there. You see what I'm saying? This is all in the book Tribal Science. Get this book. Find it on Amazon. I found it randomly. This was one of them random books in a bookstore that I got. It don't even have a price on the back of it, but it says ISBN. Get this book. I guarantee you it's on Amazon. I do believe I looked it up. Damn, nigga, talking all this shit. I gotta relight my black. My bad. So I'm saying though, I just had to share that with you, and we getting ready to pull out the very next book because I got something for you there too. I think I wanted to go to 104. Was it 104? I remember, was it 23 in this book? Yeah, I think we hit 23. Nah, so it was 42. You know what I'm saying? I tried to go to certain shit. Okay. Yeah, so that's what I already read that to you. Alright. I went a little further back, or a little earlier in the book. Here's another thing I highlighted. Far from being perfect record-keeping devices like some magnificent computer with a huge hard drive, our brains are cheating, lying bits of tissue that serve mostly to cooperate with our friends and family in an effort to get the most out of our environment. Our brains are tribal engines evolved to think in terms of faces and feelings rather than facts and physics. Unfortunately, if you think that means you can relax and not care about whether it is accurate or not, so long as it helps you to survive, think again. You couldn't be so lucky. See, that's the point, right? This book literally see, can you understand what I mean when I be telling y'all feelings come first? This is why, like I said, my cousin asked me, this is why astrology really started hitting for a nigga and started paying attention to a lot of things in the background, because feelings come first. First you have a feeling, then it's how you feel about it, which is how you make up your mind. At the end of the day, whatever stance you take, whatever point you trying to make, it's because you done got in your feelings and you feel a way. That's why I always take it to colors. Either you like it or you don't. Either you can handle it or you can't. That's the point of maturity. I am who I am. And at this point, like I used to say this when I was younger, man, people over 30, you can't make excuses for them. People over 40, they don't change. It is over. After 40 years on this planet, nigga, you are who you are. That's it. I don't even expect a motherfucker to change. You can if you want to, but I don't expect anybody over 40 to change, nor am I trying to talk them into changing their mind or anything. I mean change. If you don't want to change your body, you not. After 40, man, you are who you are. I'm not 40 yet. I'm damn near there, and I'm telling you, I'm still in the gym and shit. Nigga, it ain't the same. The body don't recover like it did when I was in my 20s. I be hurt for days. You got me bent. Nigga, I ain't no big nigga. Shit. You know, it's a different vibe. It's an entirely different vibe. So I'm just saying, man, our brains are tribal engines evolved to think in terms of faces and feelings rather than facts and physics. So this is why they have the books like Mind Control 101. This is why we have classes like psychology and sociology and anthropology. This is why, because the shit that you tell each other in whatever different cultures, this is why everybody don't do the same thing in every culture because it's universal. No, Cubans act like this, Dominicans act like that. You know what I'm saying? Puerto Ricans talk like this and have different swag to their language, different words that they use, like saying down the way or down the block, around the corner. You know what I'm saying? Down the street. The way that you phrase that, this is what a lot of this tribal science is about. The way you say what you say, yeah, I mean, you know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? The way you say what you say, you dig, you underdig, you smell me, all of those whatever shit. I can't even think of them, but you get my point. But the way you say how you say is how people even identify you, how you socialize, the language you speak, period. You know what I'm saying? Oh, that's Brazilian, bro. Oh, you speak that type of Mexican, you from this area. Oh, you from that part of Cuba, nigga. Because over here they say this and they talk like that, but over there, that's how they, you know what I'm saying? So there you go. You know what I'm saying? Your brain deals with a lot of information constantly streaming in through your senses. To make sense of every last scrap of it would be impossible. So it plays a numbers game and gambles on the outcome. Shortcuts are used to make assumptions that may be usually correct, but not always. We frequently make a type 1 and type 2 errors. The brain might not be correct 100% of the time, but given a choice between wrong on rare occasions and needing a head the size of a whale, not to mention the diet to match, which would you prefer? Right. But given a choice between being wrong occasionally or needing a head the size of a whale to take in all that information, what would you prefer? Only nigga, there's no way you're gonna get a way bigger brain. You know what I'm saying? So there you go. There you go. While it might not be entirely incorrect to describe the left hemisphere as logical and the right as creative, it does dramatically oversimplify the situation. The truth isn't quite so neat. Each half of the brain does control a number of muscles and functions on its opposing side of the body. If you have a stroke in the left hemisphere, you could lose the ability to move your right arm or leg, or even the muscles on the right half of your face. For the most part, images you see with the left eye are sent to the visual area of the right hemisphere, and images seen with the right eye are sent to the left. However, some involuntary muscle movements in the face are controlled by both hemispheres, and while the left and the right hemisphere do respond to events in their own ways, neither can be summed up in simple words like reasonable or emotional. Creativity in all its complexity relies on a variety of neurological traits found all over the brain. Boom. So there we go. Let's move on to this next one real quick, man. And we might get to the shadows, we might not, because I did just kind of touch on that. And the shadows is fucking deep as shit, but it's a good ass book to read in. And I ain't gonna. Oh, kick the goddamn. There we go. There we go. Let's get some greenery in this bitch. Greenery. I like that. It's a little bright. Well, I don't know it. Put that motherfucker back over here, man. It's a little less bright. But whatever, nigga. Whatever, nigga. Where science and magic meet. So is this page 23? Oh, sure is. Alright, so like we said, tyranny of the mind, right? You think you only have one mind, or the mind isn't fragmented into different sections, so you're thinking with different parts of your mind. But check this out, right? I'm going to read this without going to a whole lot. I want y'all to see this, though. You see that? Again, it took an hour and a half, damn near, but you see that chart? This is a consciousness chart. I'm telling you, man, science on this is not to be... They have done their fucking research, man. We talking doctors and PA, man. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they in it. So basically, boom. Let me take a step back. Basically, the sympathetic. Okay. Boom. Where Science and Magic Meet by Serena Roney Dougal, PhD. We're coming from this page 22. Basically, the brain is composed of three main parts: the old brain, which is common to all animals; the midbrain, which developed with mammals; and the new brain, the cerebral cortex. See, cerebral, back to that wax. Cerebral cortex, which is most developed in primates, dolphins, and humans, and governs our everyday thought process. Right. The limbic system, as being that area of the brain which seems to be the seat of the subconscious, the midbrain, emotional centers, it is our emotional, instinctive gut feeling level of mind. The autonomous nervous system, ANS, is not connected with feeling heat or pain or sending signals to my fingers to type these words or any other sensory or motor aspect of my body. That is the work of the central nervous system, the main channel of which runs in the spine. The main channel runs in the spine, the magic wand. All right. So basically, there are two aspects to the autonomic nervous system. Basically, the sympathetic gets us moving while the parasympathetic slows us down. Working in harmony together, we are as alert as we need to be and as relaxed as possible. The ideal state of relaxed alertness. This system can be measured using what is popularly known as a lie detector or psychogalvanometer. Psychogalvanometer, or EDA, which stands for electrodermal activity. Electrodermal. Dermic is like dermatologist, so skin, which measures sweating on the palm of the hands. Yeah, there you go. This sweating is linked to the autonomic nervous system and to emotional states of which we are often unconscious. Again, emotional states to which we are often unconscious. So like I said, the fucking Snickers commercial being hungry and shit, right? In subliminal perceptional research, and as in parapsychology, it has been found that people will react to a subliminal or psychic input at this level while consciously being totally unaware that they are responding to any information input at all. Okay, had to read that first, so let's go down this chart. First we have consciousness, the conscious mind. All right, this is the chart. You see that chart down there, that list? So I'm starting at the top. Consciousness, right? Consciousness. The conscious mind, all that we are aware of at any particular moment. That's the conscious mind. Right up under that, you have preconscious stimuli, which are above the recognition threshold and of which one can easily become aware. Subconscious stimuli, which are above the awareness threshold and below the recognition threshold, received through the dream, word association, hypnosis, etc., etc. So we had preconscious, subconscious, preconscious stimuli, which are above the recognition threshold and of which one can easily become aware. So preconscious is shit that you should be able to see or you catch on to quickly. Preconscious, right? Subconscious is subconscious. You get that, right? Subconscious, right? Right up under subconscious, again, that's the information or stimulus retrieved through dreams, word association, hypnosis, right. But it's above the awareness threshold, so it's shit you kind of are aware of, but it's below the recognition. You don't necessarily recognize it, but your brain is aware of certain shit. So right up under subconscious, you have momentary unconscious. All info, both subliminal and psychic, which is below the awareness threshold as it is present moment by moment, can be retrieved through hypnosis, dreams, and whatever else. Personal subconscious, I'm sorry. You know what, let me just read these straight down the list to kind of get it out the way instead of boom, going one and one, right? So you have the conscious mind, the preconscious, the subconscious, the momentary unconscious, the personal unconscious, family unconscious, social unconscious, tribal unconscious, national unconscious, cultural unconscious, cross-cultural unconscious, and then collective unconscious. So your mind can be operating out of any one of these levels or several of these levels at the same time. For instance, personal conscious, unconscious, all info about a person's life from the moment of conception onwards, from you as a baby, anything stored in memory which creates the total of their individual personality. Personal conscious, everything that makes up who the fuck you think you are, right, can be mixed with tribal consciousness. everything pertaining to one's tribe, i.e. people who speak the same language, dialect, your tribe. Again, your gang, your people, smokers, non-smokers, but boom. So you could be operating at a tribal consciousness, personal consciousness, national consciousness, the nation that one perceives one belongs to, however small or large. Like I said, the Cubans, they have national consciousness. Hey, we Cuban, we only do this, we do that. But you could be operating out of all of these things, one or none or several, right? You know what? And then, without going into all of those, because you can kind of figure them out if you just roll it back a little bit and just go back down over the list. You can figure out kind of what each one of them, all of them, are pointing at. So I talked about the shadow, right? Here's a quick interview. I'm going to read a couple of these things off of this interview. This is from Carl Jung. 1945, Carl Jung was referring to the shadow as simply the thing a person has no wish to be. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, he said, but by making the darkness conscious. The latter procedure, however, is disagreeable and therefore not popular. Today, shadow refers to that part of the unconscious mind that is nearest to consciousness, even though it is not completely accepted by it. Probably all that is left of us today is the psychological approach. That is why I take these thought forms that have become historically fixed, try to melt them down again and pour them into modes. Okay, now, hold on. That's not exactly the article I wanted to read, but I think my god daggone. Man, I know my little bookmark done fell out. So, just listen to the sounds of nature while I try to find this shit. Okay. I just put it in the wrong. So, nigga, I was one page off. Jerks. They trying to slow us down. All right, so What the Shadow Knows, an interview with John A. Sanford. He's a hell of an author. Look him up. I got a couple books by John Sanford. I'm not sure if it's John A. Sanford, though. But anyways, look him up. See if you can get what you can get. But check it out. This is really, I would rather be whole than good. Why do most people fail to recognize the relationship between evil and excessive goodness? This is really the problem of the ego and the shadow. A problem that most sharply discernible in the Christian tradition. So there's always held up to the Christian the goal or model of being a good person. But originally the Christian tradition recognized that one carries opposites within oneself. Later, that in-depth perspective was lost and people simply felt compelled to identify with good, or at least the pretense of being good. Doing that, you will quickly lose contact with the shadow. Also, right? I grew up around religious fundamentalists, and I always noticed a kind of uptightness about them, as if they were literally trying not to have certain things enter their mind. That's right. It doesn't really result in a good person. It develops a persona, a face of goodness, put on over the ego. Dr. Jekyll had a very big persona, and he believed in it completely, but he was never really a very good man. Here, it's important to understand the crucial difference between the shadow and what's genuinely evil. The secret is that the ego is the devil, not the shadow. The ego, the motherfucking ego is the devil, not the shadow. See how everything is in reverse, man? It's in reverse, man. Alright. Notifications left and right. Now my battery's getting ready to die. We've been talking shit for so long. First I ran out of space. Now I'm getting ready to run out of time. Anyways. But we good, man. We done talked enough shit. We need to get this shit uploaded. And we done went through enough books, so hopefully this was very entertaining. I was trying to get back to the type of videos, I did earlier in this YouTube shit, you know what I'm saying, where we sit and we pull out a bunch of books and we really, talk about things, and it's less about the time restraints and really about rapping and really understanding some shit. A lot of information coming out of these books, man. Get every one of them. If you like any of this, man, we can get in deeper. Again, just give me a message, man, and we'll do it. So all these qualities. Okay. My bad. Here it's important to understand that the crucial difference between the shadow and what's genuinely evil. The secret is that the ego is the devil, not the shadow. Here believed there is evil beyond the ego, an archetypal evil, but for most people it's the ego that's really the problem. The shadow is everything that has been rejected during the development of the personality because it did not fit into the ego ideal. It did not fit into who you think you are. Again, tyranny of the mind, because your mind is so in control of who you think you want to be all the time, not sometimes, but all the time, who you think you are, who you was raised to be, how you was raised to act, all of this stuff, right? How you was raised. So all these qualities that you split off would become the secondary personality called the shadow. And if the secondary personality became sufficiently isolated, you would become what's known as a multiple personality. In every multiple personality case, you can always clearly identify the shadow. It's not always evil. The shadow is not always evil. It's just different than the ego. And the ego is your main personality, that main whoever you think you are, your original name, the personality you spent the most time with. So the name your parents gave you, nigga. Who you thought you were the first 15, 20, 30 years of your life, whatever, nigga. Again, you know what the ego is. Who you project to the world. That shit. Whether you have control over it or not. Everything that is not the ego, whether it's good or bad, everything that's not the ego goes into the shadow. So the shadow, no matter how troublesome it might be, is not intrinsically evil. It's not just wholly evil. It's just not evil altogether. The ego, in its refusal of insight and its refusal to accept the entire personality, contributes much more to evil than the shadow. Question: so the shadow gets a bad rap because the ego projects its own evil onto it? Sanford: exactly. If you go back to that psychological document we call the New Testament, you'll find that it says the devil is the father of lies. Now, the shadow never lies. It is what it is, nigga. It's like I said, you like what you like. That's what it's called being an adult, nigga. You are who you are. You own what you own. The shadow never lies. It's the ego that lies about its real motives, which is like I said about the whole, if the only thing you know is your sun sign because you was born in whatever fucking month you was born in, and you really don't know shit, and you really ain't the one for this, but you don't really know anything, but that's all you know is your ego. That's evil. That's evil. And again, the ego, you will lie about your real emotion. Again, the sun don't shine all the time. The sun goes down. So you don't always tell people what you really think. You don't always tell people what you really feel. You don't always walk around 100% real. You feel me? You don't. Nobody does. And I don't give a fuck who they are. They don't. Again, nobody even has that. Anyways, bro, they don't. So that's why successful psychotherapy and any genuine religious conversion requires absolute honesty about oneself. You have to be real about what you like or you don't like. Psychotherapy, you can't go say, I need a therapist, to go talk to any therapist if you're just going to keep lying to yourself. If you only going to believe what the fuck you want to believe. Hell, this is why people even go to a therapist in the first place, man. Me and my baby mama used to go back and forth about this shit, because as you see, clearly I got books on books on books, and this shit ain't fantasy land. I just showed you the author of this book is a doctor, Serena Roney Dougal, PhD. That's a doctor of this shit. I'm not a doctor of it, so don't argue with me. You ain't got to argue with me. Argue with the doctor that wrote the book of this science. Science. Now, I don't know if these are somebody's textbooks in somebody's class or any of that, but the point is, just because I don't have the white man's degree, because I didn't graduate from the white man's institution, as they like to say, just because I'm not indoctrinated, I don't have that degree, it does not mean I do not have the knowledge. Just because I do not have a degree in this, it does not mean I do not understand the subject. Does not mean I couldn't legitimately be a professional in it. I mean, like I said, I went to college for liberal arts. That's where you find most politicians and lawyers with a liberal arts degree. Politicians and lawyers, but I'm just a maintenance man. But I went to school for that shit. No, I'm not a politician. No, I'm not a lawyer, but I damn sure well know how to argue. I know how to state my case. I know how to prove my fucking point without yelling and screaming and shit. I told y'all, buy it off Amazon. It's literally called a rule book for arguments, so that you can make it make sense to whoever you need to make it make sense to. I can argue from authority. Again, I got the books arguing from authority. Here's a doctor. Here's several books that say this. They're the authority on the subject, not me. So you have to argue with them, or you have to go find some information that counters with the information that they come in with. Because these books ain't just made for nothing. You know, every book, like I told y'all, it has a bibliography in the back. It has reference chapters, all of this, permissions and copyrights, all of that. So they tell you where they got their information from. They can't lie to you. They can tell you where they got their opinions, where they got their information from. So the book has books that it refers to. So eat a dick. You gonna come talking to me, or understand that when you come talking to me, I'm gonna call it out. You talking about your fucking feelings. We start talking about how you feel about some shit, because you got to have X amount of knowledge. You know, and I'm not saying there ain't niggas out there smarter than me. What I'm saying is, it takes a certain amount of knowledge. Hey, just like the book, let me refer back to the tribal science, man. The brain is based off of emotions, faces, and feelings. You know what I'm saying? So you have to fill it with facts to understand what these faces and feelings truly mean. You know what I'm saying? There's an unlimited amount of colors in the rainbow. You know, the brain now knows what lilac is. The brain now knows what lavender is. The brain now knows what magenta is. You got to give your brain more information so that it can start telling you what you can get a better idea of what the truth is. The truth is, all purples ain't purple, nigga. Some are lavender, some is pastel, some of them are lilac, some is magenta. All blues ain't blue. There's navy blue, royal blue, cyan, sky blue, light blue, any fucking crayon.